Imagine a world where safe healthcare is not a given. You need a yearly checkup, but find that you have no accessibility to a safe or credible doctor. You're feeling pains in your chest, but due to the fear of discrimination and maltreatment at the emergency room, you don't go, and as a result, put your life at risk. This is the reality for hundreds of thousands of Americans across the nation. Due to the lack of reform within healthcare education, as well as an upheld societal stigma, transgender individuals are not receiving adequate healthcare. The American Medical Association is not mandating transgender healthcare training. Therefore, a majority of healthcare practices across the nation aren't prioritizing transgender healthcare. Transgender people have the same healthcare needs as cisgender people, including physical exams, preventative care, and STD testing. However, many trans individuals also have special healthcare concerns and challenges, including hormone treatments and gender reassignment surgeries. The use of incorrect pronouns and names, invasive inquiries about one's own genitalia or transgender status, and even feeling like a freak show are all common occurrences for trans people attempting to receive primary care. Due to these experiences, in a recent study by the National Center for Transgender Equality, it was found that 1/3 of transgender individuals who saw a healthcare provider in 2015 reported having at least one negative experience related to being transgender. Furthermore, because the U.S. healthcare system largely overlooks the needs of transgender people, certain healthcare services are believed to be accessed only by men and other services only by women. This can be seen through a trans man struggling to receive a gynecological appointment or a trans woman having to remind a primary care physician to test for prostate cancer. Trans individuals are forced to educate their provider about transgender people in order to get appropriate care. Due to this treatment, over 28% of trans and gender non-conforming people have postponed medical care when sick or injured due to discrimination and disrespect. Daniel Bryant Gain is one of the many trans individuals who has experienced discrimination within the healthcare system. Not only was Daniel a transgender man forced to announce the name he went by before transitioning to receptionist, but he was also denied surgical intervention for a mastectomy. Despite the fact that cisgender women are routinely referred for surgical intervention for tumors, Daniel's request was ignored with insufficient review, even with a 10-year-old tumor in his chest tissue. Daniel was left questioning his health and feeling hopeless. We can also see trans discrimination through Luke Jude's experience.
I've had a history of urinary tract infections. It was pretty commonplace for me, and I went to the urgent care, and the physician on staff that I was dealing with kept telling me over and over how atypical it was for a man to be having a series of urinary tract infections. I tried to interrupt him and say, I understand, I've been through a gender transition, so my anatomy is probably not what you expect it to be. And he kept stopping me. He wouldn't let me complete and assuring me that he did understand. And he said, I think I would like to take a look. So I pulled down my pants, and it wasn't at all what he expected. And he was immediately apologetic. He said, oh, you don't have, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. I said, I know, we tried to tell you.
This substandard and unjust treatment experienced by Daniel, Luke, and thousands of other trans individuals leaves trans people upset and potentially at risk for untreated ailments. Individuals are left without trustworthy doctors, and many resort to unsafe methods in order to receive necessary health care. For example, the use of unsupervised hormones can lead to serious liver problems, blood clots, stroke, and increased HIV and hepatitis risk. Trans individuals are marginalized within all areas of society. In order to lessen this behavior, reforming transgender healthcare must be prioritized. And the frightening statistic that 40% of trans individuals have attempted suicide in their lifetime confirms that there is no time to wait. In order to promote and regulate adequate care, the American Medical Association must step in and require all healthcare providers to take mandatory training courses to become fully educated on transgender healthcare. As an American, you expect good, safe healthcare. Fight to ensure every American has this right. End the discrimination of trans individuals by speaking out against injustice within the healthcare sector. Post on social media, speak out in your community, call your state representatives, join protests and rallies. The American Medical Association will be forced to improve their trans healthcare education and training if they are faced with high pressure from society. These changes will finally allow trans individuals to receive adequate health care. Speak up today and help end the discrimination of the transgender community.